Well, let's find out what's happening on the ground. And Hani Mahmoud joins us now from Rafah. Hani, for people there, what happens in terms of the international diplomacy we're seeing is obviously a matter of life and death. How are they talking about what's been happening over the last day or so?
Yes, well, so far the ongoing talks in Doha and previously in Cairo and what's going on in the UN Security Council all have been major topics among displaced Palestinians in overcrowded Rafah city and people who are starving and dealing with acute famine in the northern part, as everybody hoping they will get to the point where there is a solid announcement of a ceasefire, not only just a temporary truce, or they want more of a permanent ceasefire so they can get back to their life as they know it. Right now, not only we're looking at the humanitarian level, but also the ongoing state of panic and fears as the results of the constant threats of expanding the ground invasion into Rafah city, which will be very catastrophic given the fact that Rafah is overcrowded with more than half of Gaza population have been cornered in this small part of the Gaza Strip and already struggling on daily basis to find basic supplies and life-saving items to combat the difficulties of living conditions created by the ongoing intense bombing campaign that has already destroyed major parts of Rafah city. We're looking at the eastern part of the city that has largely been cleared of all the residential buildings and the agricultural land, and to the western part where the vast majority of the infrastructure have been either destroyed or severely damaged, just mounting pressure in people right now. And very disappointed as well at the role of the U.S. here as part of their frustration that the U.S., what they did at the UN Security Council yesterday was more of what the U.S. has been doing by traditionally standing by Israel and protecting it from UN Security Council decisions and its agencies.
Well, Hani, I can hear the Israeli drones overhead there. I understand there have been even more strikes, meanwhile, even as senior UN officials are heading towards Rafah?
Yes, what we're seeing within the past 24 hours, more of a surge in the presence of drones, surveillance drone in the area, as well as attack drones, and more of the overnight airstrikes in the eastern part of Rafah city, where a residential home was targeted and destroyed, and 5 children reported killed, all transferred to a Najjar hospital, and 7 more injuries remaining family members. But those who were pronounced it were the 5 children of the displaced family residing in this residential home have been displaced from other parts from the Gaza Strip. To the western part, almost non-stop, constant naval shelling and heavy gunboat on the coastal road, that the western part of Rafah city, causing great deal of damage to the buildings right on the coastal road of Rafah city. There were also reports of earlier hours today of the Israeli military with a large number of tanks and armored vehicles pushed deeper from Al-Matahan intersection. That's in the middle of the central area all the way to Deir al-Balah city, to the evacuation zone Al-Mawasi, which extends from Deir al-Balah all the way to Rafah city, just creating a sense of fear and panic for those who are staying in tents and trying to protect themselves from the ongoing horror of the intense bombing campaign. Around the Shifa hospital, what the Israeli military did overnight and late hours of last night is the systematically setting buildings on fire at the vicinity of a Shifa hospital, to the point the entire area is becoming unrecognizable, and continues to operate aggressively inside a Shifa hospital, damaging the vast majority of its property and destroying its building and medical supplies and medical equipment. The entire area turned into a real combat zone, but described by one paramedic. It's one side, only one element that is prominent right there, which is the Israeli military.
Hani Mahmoud there with the latest for us on what's happening on the ground in Gaza. Thank you very, very much, Hani.